So this is called the Perch Portaledge. It came out in spring of 2023 as part of our big wall lineup. And what we did is took our long-standing old portaledge, which was called the Cliff Cabana. It had a single end double. So we got rid of the single. Like I said, we only make the double version now. It does have a fly as well. And starting with the very top, we have our rigging plate, which is a single point, very easy connection. And then everything from there down is going to really focus on the user experience. From the moment you pull it out of the bag and find that clip-in point and hang it, the whole thing will kind of deploy. It has a shock cord frame, more like a modern tent as opposed to the old portaledge. The joints are, instead of being full length, there's actually seams as we go here and here. And what that does is make the overall package quite a bit shorter for hauling as well as for managing while you're on the wall. So instead of being this big, 48-inch long tube, we've shrunk that down considerably to around 30 or 36 inches. Again, all of the poles are tied together with an 8mm shock cord, which makes the setup a breeze. It has these ferruled connections that are all chamfered so they kind of self-center. And the corners, which were definitely one of the hard points of setting up the old ledge, instead of having a seam on the corner now, we actually have our joints here and here, and this whole corner piece is rounded one piece, and it makes the whole setup a lot easier. The bed itself is going to be a Dyneema reinforced ripstop, so it's going to eliminate a lot of the stretch and sag. If you're spending any amount of time on here, you're not going to have to retension it. Front side, or the air side, we'll call it, is going to be a pretty durable material, but really the back side has almost like a raft material. It's a thermoplastic or a TPU, which is what our new haul bags are made out of, pretty standard in the industry. So it's going to be really, really abrasion resistant on the back. Even though the frame is symmetrical, the front and rear fabrics are totally different, engineered for their job. As you get it set up, once the frame is assembled, the bed just has these 6 buckles, which you can see. So you can tighten that up pretty easily. And then we have a pretty standard color-coded cam buckle strap system, again, for the front and back. So even if you're setting this up after dark, it's pretty easy from the beginning. The rigging plate is colored black and red front and back. The straps are also colored black and gray front and back. And then, of course, we have our octane front hits and our gray and black reinforced back. So no matter where you look, it's pretty easy to figure out which side of this needs to go on the wall versus which side should be hanging out in the air. And then just like the old ledge, we have a slightly easier to use, I would say, fin system. So again, this keeps everyone from sagging to the middle and sleeping in a hammock together. Kind of gives that separation, a little extra storage for snacks, water bottles, and provides that extra support. These are optional if you want, a little more headroom. If you're here by yourself, you can actually drop these things, let them lay flat in the bed. Despite being really similar dimensions, there's actually more square inches per person. So we've kind of added some thickness here where the shoulders of each person would sit, and then it tapers in a little bit. So it's this modified hexagon shape, I suppose. So again, really no more size in the package. It's very similar in weight to our old one, but it is quite a bit more durable and you get a lot more space. So all of the support straps for the wall side and the air side are a very traditional 1-inch cam buckle like we're used to. So it's pretty easy to get your ledge leveled. Just a quick tug, automatic lock, and then a pretty easy release. And you can work through all 6 of these individually to make sure that you have a nice level sleeping platform. We did change out the rear buckles here to what we've called a batwing style buckle. So instead of being a G-hook, we actually made these. They're a little bit stronger. And some people like the usability. It has this small gap, so you feed it onto the webbing, twist it 90, and then you're locked. Same way to get it off. And then just like any other aluminum slider buckle, just easy tensioning to kind of raise or lower, add more or less support. And then it has this extra sew-in loop, so it's nice and easy to release that tension. And then the bed itself is a simple nylon buckle. So again, we're saving a little bit of weight here. And we found in testing that the nylon actually does as good or better than the aluminum. Comes pre-threaded. You shouldn't ever have to unthread these when this is packed. It's basically fully attached, ready to go. All you have to do is get it hung, adjust your leveling, and give these each a little tug. The 6 on each side, which are all on the top side, pretty easy to get to while you're hanging on the wall, and you're good to go. It's pretty quick and easy. The spreader bar here, like the old ledge, is optional. If you're spending a lot of time in here, it's definitely recommended, but if this is a one-night thing, you can take it off and save a little bit of weight. But one side of the spreader bar can stay fixed even when it's packed. Both sides do have just a simple clevis pin to hold it on. So you could pop that off, the spreader bar will drop, and then it would just go right back on in a similar manner. Like the rest of the frame, the spreader bar is kind of tent pole construction. So you'll see there's joints in the bottom that make it easy to pack. and they're all shot corded with that same 8mm shot cord. Front and back are similar. You can take off either side or put either side on, but again, you never have to take it all the way off. So what we have here is the Perch Expedition Fly, again made for the new Perch Double Expedition Portaledge. The big update here was, again, similar to the ledge, a new fabric that was designed just for this. So again, like the floor, it's a Dynex grid, waterproof fabric there. Super burly, eliminates the stretch factor, especially once it's wetted out. And then again, has corner reinforcements similar to what we saw on the back of the ledge. So using that hull bag material and some padding to make sure that the whole back edge and then these corners are going to be really, really durable. Unlike the old ledge, you can put this fly on while the ledge is set up and while you're actually on it. So up top, we have a quick connect toggle that sits on the very top of the fly bag. You can just put that through the anchor plate, and then the whole thing basically folds down and around. And there's a zipper on each corner that you can grab, zip yourself up while you're in there, and then a single pull that sits quite a bit higher than the old pull. So it's easier to use the doors, and you get a lot more headroom in there as well for those extended stays. So it does have a door on each side, obviously, each one with 2 zippers that are stormproof. They go way up into here. One of the cool things about this fly in general is you can unzip all 4 of the zippers, the 2 on each side, down as far as you want to. Some of our internal users called this bathtub mode. So you could imagine this whole thing could actually be folded down but still tight on the frame, and you have this little 1-foot wall to keep anything from floating off. And then it also makes sure that if a storm does come up quickly, you're ready to zip up and go undercover. But you can get pretty, obviously, massive side-to-side ventilation depending on how bad the weather is. You could go up or down as far as you want to. And then, of course, there is this top vent that always has some airflow from underneath the door up through the hood. And not in this picture, so we can see all the rigging, is a TPU storm hood. So it does have a fully waterproof cone that sits over top of the anchor plate and covers all of this as well to make sure you don't have a water spout in the middle of your tent in the middle of the night. On the back, you can see some of those reinforcement panels we were talking about. Again, kind of the full length reinforcement TPU material on that. Mirrored door from the other side with its own window in and out. And then, of course, the big panoramic front window for checking out the views while you're stuck inside. So in addition to a redesign of the ledge and its materials, we also redesigned the bag that it comes in. This same season, we redesigned the hull bags with all new materials and some user features. So we really just drafted off of that design for this ledge hull bag. We use the same TPU material in our new hull bags and that we use as the wear points on the back of the ledge and the back of the fly. It has the same kind of hull loops that we're going to find, so the 2-inch seatbelt webbing, really burly. It has a near full-length rear zipper, so it's pretty easy to pop this thing both in and out, and there's the gusset at the bottom, so when you shove the whole bundle of poles and bed all wrapped up in there, it's pretty simple and straightforward. Roll top, again, same as our hull bags have. It's a lighter weight ripstop material there. The zipper does go all the way up in the back. You can Velcro it, roll it down. Our engineers joke about this thing called Hullnamics, or this sleek kind of cone-shaped hulling system. The roll top really allows you to get that in there, and you can tuck it and have a pretty clean, tidy thing that you're trying to haul up the wall. A little less risk of getting caught on everything as you go up. And the final piece is once you get this open and are about ready to take it out, there is this internal hull loop, so you can hang it up, make sure it's right where you need it as you unzip and fully deploy your ledge out of the bag. So just is, again, kind of focusing on that user experience, making things as easy as possible while you're up there trying to get set up, potentially in inclement weather, definitely when you're sore and tired. The lower half of each of the straps is replaceable. They just girth hitch on the frame and can be fed back through the buckle there for easy field repair or at-home repair. Fair bit of iteration as we tested this around the durability, specifically against the wall. After using it for time, there was a lot of work that went into the backside of this ledge, and I can actually spin it quick. So again, you can see the reinforcements we put here. We actually added some padding inside the reinforcements to make it a little bit softer, so it wasn't directly on the aluminum. The old ledge, as you remember, had some stoppers basically to keep it away from the wall and keep everything square. With this new arch design, trying to figure out stability against the wall combined with the durability against the wall while still keeping this extra shoulder room that we developed Actually took us a few seasons of iteration, as simple as that sounds. So we spent a fair bit of time back here choosing the right materials, the right amount of padding. We have some extra replaceable bumpers on the side even that give you a little bit of extra wear point and stick out a little bit further than the rest of the ledge on these recessed corners, so you can, just Velcro these on and off a little bit. Again, these rings here play into the durability. This is both to hold the webbing still so you don't get a lot of extra shifting, and sit the ledge just a little bit further out away from the wall. So again, a lot went into that part of the system. We went down a long rabbit hole, and I think we've arrived in a pretty decent spot. It seems to meet or exceed our old ledge, at least in terms of durability, so we're pretty happy with that. So when you are setting this up, it really depends on the wall you're on. Of course, in a perfect world, it's a dead vertical, perfect granite face, and everything is good. Unfortunately, that's not overly realistic. So what we recommend, of course, is getting your master point turned correctly. It's labeled up there, wall side and air side. Get everything set, and I like to get my back piece adjusted first. The lower these cam buckles are set, really the more headroom you're going to have in these little triangles. So I like to get those down to the bottom third or so. There is a hard stop that's stitched that you don't really want to go past, but you can get within a few inches of that. Once that back wall is set, you can adjust the front wall pretty easily. Again, I'll start on the two outside corners and just get it eyeballed level. Once that's set, you kind of tension the middles. Again, not too much to undo all the work you've done, but just get it snug. And then you should have basically 6 more or less equalized supports that are going to keep everything level as possible in these two planes. The middle pieces, again, you can hook up and tension to a point where you're maybe just a little proud in the middle, and this is going to create 2 nice sleeping platforms. Again, that's personal preference, whether you use them or not, whether you've got 1 person or 2 people on this ledge. But for sleeping, we do recommend popping those up. It'll be a much more comfortable experience. And again, just a little bit proud. You can actually work these out a little bit once you're in there as well. You can release them under load, and as long as you're doing 1 buckle at a time, you can fine tune the ledge once you're already on it, which is nice, is once you crawl in there, it's going to slip around a little bit here and there. Even middle of the night, you can give these things a little bit of tug and raise the front end, raise your head, etc. a little bit here and there if you need to. So when you are putting this frame together, it's pretty important to make sure that all of the poles are fully seated. Obviously, you're going to lose out on a lot of strength if they're not. For a visual on this, we've anodized all of the ferrules red. So if it's fully seated, you shouldn't really see any red. Obviously, if things are not all the way together, you're going to see a little bit of red popping out, and that happens at all the joints, all the way around the frame. When you are popping this thing together, most of the time, almost all of it, will snap together pretty easily, but sometimes those last couple joints are a little bit hard. So make sure that the bed or the floor is all the way untensioned. You don't want any extra tension on here. So you can loosen all those buckles as you're taking it apart or putting it back together, of course. And then with the construction, again, the ferrules are all chamfered on the end there. So it's really not going to be a matter of force, it's going to be alignment. So just make sure that you get things kind of as loose as possible with the bed. Don't have anything tension until it's all the way set together. And then if you can get them started at all and kind of adjust the plane a little bit, they'll end up snapping together on you. Unlike the old ledge, which was a little more, kick and pull and grunt and force, this one really does go together quite well. Again, as long as things are loose and you get the alignment right. Other options in the market are similar to this. If you're going to be out for multiple days, especially if you might be stuck for multiple days at a time in a ledge, and comfort is king as opposed to weight, this is a great option for you. If you're going to do something a little bit lighter, a little bit faster, you can always take the ledge itself with no fly, which is going to help a lot in the weight and bulk department, but you are exposed to the elements if something were to go wrong. And then some of the newer options out there really focus on the packability as well as the lack of weight. So things like the G7 ledge is an incredible piece of equipment that we almost see on the opposite side of this. This is not for the light and fast push. It's really for being comfortable for days, weeks, or even months if you get stuck up there. Down the road, we might reassess that and see how this new ledge enabling some fast and light big wall pushes comes. But for now, we've decided to focus on kind of that Meru style of climbing rather than the Janu recent adventure.